How lazy are you guys? Are you guys a lazy gardener like me? I'm so lazy that I'm not even in the garden right now. I'm in the comfort of my grow room down in my basement. Hey everybody, Doug the Croc Gardener here. Hey, I am going to go through with my top 5 laziest gardening hacks that I implement in my system in my garden. Are you guys ready to join me? It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's get started here. Hack number 1 is to mulch now and don't weed. I tell you what, if you put down a good layer of mulch, you'll have many benefits to your soil. You'll have less watering to do, and you'll find out that you won't have any weeds in your garden because that layer of mulch is going to prevent those weeds from sprouting. So if you don't like weeding, which is a horrible task to do in the 90, 100 degree heat, 100% humidity outside, just don't do it. Put down a layer of mulch now when your plants are small, and it'll really benefit them. Hack number 2, put a sprinkler system in. If you have some type of way to easy to water, to where you're not lugging a watering can back and forth all the time, you'll be a lot happier gardener. Your plants will be a lot happier too. Again, 100 degrees out, 100% humidity, that watering stinks. Put some type of sprinkler system in. I'm putting some sprinkler hoses in. Stay tuned for that video. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that early in the spring so I can get them in before my plants get too big. And what I'm going to do to hook them up to water everything with. Number 3, lazy composting. I am big on taking kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, everything out of that I can use and putting in my garden to improve my soil. Man, I tell you what, things really help when you can get some compost into your garden. But am I out there every day rotating a compost pile, checking it, layering things in, watering the compost pile? No, I'm not. I often take all of my garden scraps and I put them into some containers I got in my beds and use those in-ground worm composting. It's a lot easier just to take those scraps and just toss them into that bin and just go through on each bed and toss them in there than to dump it out and really maintain a hot compost pile. And that's the other thing is I don't ever hot compost anymore. I used to hot compost, but that takes some equipment to do that. It also takes some time. I always just put cold compost. I just layer stuff up on my compost pile, let it set, and just kind of forget it. And eventually I will have a good set of compost. Usually I spread out compost once a year anyways, so that works out to my benefit. So just be a cold composter. Be a lazy composter. It's okay. You can do it. I know you can. I can do it. It's so easy. Number 4, plant once and then harvest forever. I'll tell you what, perennials are awesome low maintenance plants. Plant those strawberries once and just harvest. Plant those blueberries once, harvest them. Apples, grapes, I got cold hard kiwi, I have elderberry, I got blackberry, I got rhubarb. Those are all fantastic harvest once or plant once, harvest later crops. The other thing I have going in my garden are crops that overseed or reseed themselves. A great example of this is the walking onion. I love that plant. It's a awesome forever. Somebody made a comment on my channel just the other day about getting forever onions. And that's essentially what it is. I never have to buy seeds for these things. And if you let them go, they just plop down and reseed themselves, and they just continue to grow in different spots and walk throughout my garden. So those are great. I also have chamomile that I planted this year, but it all died. But I have a ton of volunteers out there with chamomile. That's another excellent plant that's like that. I have a bunch of flowers that come up because they overseed themselves. Those are things that you might might want to start looking into if you don't feel like planting and taking the time to plant seeds and then harden them off and then go through all the whole growing process. So yes. So and my tip number 5 for growing, being lazy in the garden and growing things is just simply let nature do the work. I mean, there are so many things that we kind of fight around in nature, but just sometimes you just got to let nature take over. For example, plant flowers in the garden. When you plant flowers in the garden, it attracts bees and beneficial pollinators and beneficial insects in the garden. That does a couple things. One, it pollinates all your plants. Two, it also invites special insects into your garden that are going to kill the harmful ones. These are going to be good ones that are going to be killing the vine borers or different worms that are in your garden. Those are going to be some things that you might want to take into consideration. I also tend to make hiding spaces for toads or amphibians or lizards in my garden. I really don't see too many lizards, but we do have toads out there. One of the things I can do is take all these old coffee cans that I talked about in previous videos. If you take these and just simply lay them on your side or bury them in the ground, that's a great hiding place for the toads. And those toads will eat a lot of those harmful insects. Companion planting is another great way to let nature just take over your garden. For example, plant those flowers next to those hard to pollinate crops, so that'll really attract the bees and pollinators in there, so you can get some pollination going through on some of those crops, so you don't have to go out there with a little toothpick and play plant voodoo or whatever you want to call it out there. So that's a great way of doing it. Another way you can do it is you could discourage different pests by putting certain plants together. Basil is a good plant that likes to deter different pests because of its aromatic properties. Another one would be onions. They do a great job of deterring pests because of their aromatic properties. Marigolds are great for that as well. Put those marigolds next to some plants, and basically you're going to be scaring away some of the nematodes. You're going to be helping out with pollinators. It's an excellent companion plant. Go check out some of the books out there on Amazon or wherever. Another thing that you can do is you can put plants together to save space. If you got a hole in your garden where you got something that, oh well, I got this little space, but I don't know what to do with it. Lettuce is a great little crop to kind of put in spaces to fill in holes. My garlic in the garden, it is notorious for getting weeds until I started planting lettuce in between it. And now I don't have to worry about weeding it because I got a crop that's growing there that I can cut. Different things like that will really, really improve your amount of crops that you can have in your garden, as well as what you're going to get for harvest. It also improves your psyche because you're not out there weeding all the time. It's something that really, really works out well for your garden. Another way you can let nature take over is make a canopy. If you got raised beds, plant that whole bed full of beans. If you plant that whole bed full of beans, you plant them close enough together, they're gonna have a canopy. You might have to start pulling weeds a couple times, but if you put your mulch layer down, you won't. But then once that canopy forms, there's no sunlight getting the floors of that bed, so you won't have any weeds at all in that bed. I've done this many a times with many crops. Strawberries are one of them. Beans are another one. So everybody, tell me what you do in your garden that makes you a lazy gardener. I'm sure you guys got plenty of tips and tricks out there. Let's line the comments with all those tips and tricks. That would be awesome for us to get a repository here of my comments going, and we can share them with each other. And maybe if I have a bunch of them, I can make another video out there for you guys of who has the best tips and tricks. Get some names shouted out over there and represent some of these people that are always making comments in my comments. I would love to do that. So if you guys want some more of those tips or interested maybe in seeing if that video will ever progress, click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Click that bell to get notifications that I'm sending out new videos, and you'll be hopefully rewarded. Cheers, everybody, and God bless.